This is Northern Light for Friday, August 28th. Good morning. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Catherine Wheeler. An immigrant advocacy group in the North Country is getting new funding to expand its work with families dealing with the impact of ICE detentions.
Investing in programs that help immigrant neighbors put down roots here is a part of how this region stays true to itself, how it stays sustainable.
Also on the show, we visit a summer basketball camp in Western New York where college athletes are preparing for the sport they love.
We teach leadership, we teach financial literacy, nutrition, mental health. We're teaching the kids, be yourself, be the best you.
And we'll check out trail conditions in the Adirondacks for this final weekend of August.
All that's coming up on Northern Light. Stick with us. Northern Light is supported by the Osable Freshwater Center, building a better future for Adirondack communities through effective science-based stewardship of freshwater systems. More information at osablecenter.org. And by AJA Architecture and Planning in Glens Falls, providing architecture, planning, and interior design services for residential, commercial, and community spaces throughout the North Country. ajaarchitecture.com. This is Northern Light. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Catherine Wheeler. Local officials are praising the military's selection of Fort Drum to host a nuclear microreactor as a once-in-a-lifetime boon to the Army base near Watertown. But as David Summerstein reports, the technology is totally unproven and comes with some big questions.
Advocate Drum is a nonprofit based in Watertown that does just what its name says it does. Make the case for Fort Drum to remain strong in Jefferson County and stave off potential base cuts or closures, as befell Plattsburgh Air Force Base in the 1990s. Interim Executive Director David Zembeck says the military's announcement that Fort Drum is one of 5 bases around the country that will host next-generation nuclear reactors serves Advocate Drum's mission.
And this kind of investment in Fort Drum does increase its military value by making it more resilient and energy secure. We don't know, but maybe it'll support additional expansion of Fort Drum in the future.
But here's the thing. This technology, mini-sized nuclear reactors that can generate up to 20 megawatts of electricity, doesn't even exist yet. It's part of the Trump administration's plan to reboot the nuclear industry, called the Janus program. It partners companies with military bases in North Carolina, Kentucky, Texas, Georgia, and here in the North Country. The initial cost is $2.2 billion. The goal is to deploy at least 1 microreactor in 2 years. Details are thin. Fort Drum will partner with Westinghouse. The reactor will take up no more than 5 acres. There'll be an automatic shutdown in case of emergency. Spent nuclear fuel will be trucked away, but the federal government hasn't said where. It's still cleaning up nuclear sites from the 1960s. Advocate Drum's David Zembeck acknowledges nuclear power has a scary history, but he says the military won't endanger the more than 15,000 troops stationed at Fort Drum.
This is not the large, smokestack, huge facility. You think they're about the size of a shipping container. And with the improvements of the technology, it appears to be much safer.
Critics say nuclear is still too dangerous. They say this program is a giveaway to an industry that still hasn't proven it can build a safe product. The military selection of Fort Drum comes as New York is pushing forward on its own nuclear power plants, driven by the need for carbon-free energy to combat climate change. Governor Kathy Hochul has directed the New York Power Authority to develop a new nuclear power plant somewhere upstate. Some local officials, in particular Assemblyman Scott Gray, have been lobbying for that place to be the North Country. David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio, Canton.
President Donald Trump says he is renaming Lake Ontario to Lake America in the United States. Trump signed the executive order after first floating the name change earlier this week. Dana McFarlane is one of the top scholars who has studied Lake Ontario, including the history of politics and friction over the border waters.
It doesn't even make logical sense in that, the Canadian side of Lake Ontario just dwarfs the New York side in terms of population and things like that. That's the Canadian heartland. That's the most populated area of Canada. So, Lake Ontario, I would argue, is much more important to Canada and Ontario than it is to the United States.
Lake Ontario was named by the indigenous Iroquois people well before European settlers arrived and the province came into being. Ontario comes from a Huron word meaning Lake of Shining Waters. Trump's executive order is the latest development in a trade war between the two countries after negotiations broke down over the weekend. The U.S. is imposing 50% tariffs on $20 billion worth of Canadian goods. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has said they'll impose retaliatory tariffs starting September 8th. Canada has not changed the lake's name.
An immigration advocacy group in the North Country is getting more than $30,000 to expand its programs. North Country immigrant allies will use the money to hold Know Your Rights workshops and clinics to help immigrant families prepare in case someone is detained by ICE. As David Escobar reports, the group says the funding will also help advocates overcome language barriers with the people they serve.
When someone is detained by immigration agents, a lot of things need to be taken care of. A car could be impounded, a paycheck could go undeposited, and kids could come home from school without a parent there to take care of them. North Country Immigrant Allies Coordinator Keela Grimmett says her group helps families plan for those possibilities ahead of time.
Very similar to creating a will. And so it's really thinking through all of the pieces of this so that if it happens, it's plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Until now, Grimmett's group has relied mostly on grassroots support to do that work. Now, it has more than $32,000 from the Adirondack Diversity Initiative, a project of the Adirondack North Country Association. Most of the money will go towards weekly family preparedness clinics. Grimmett says immigrants worried about being detained or deported can sit down with volunteers to walk through paperwork, things like power of attorney or putting money together for legal bonds before somebody is in custody.
As much as folks can have in place prior to detainment as possible, the more effective we can be at supporting them when detained.
But Grimmett says one of the biggest challenges she's facing is language access. Her group has about 100 volunteers, but only a handful speak fluent Spanish. Yet most of the immigrants the group works with are Spanish speakers. The new funding will pay for interpreters and provide Spanish classes for the group's volunteers. It'll also fund English as a second language classes for immigrants, which Grimmett hopes can help them navigate everyday life, including encounters with law enforcement.
People can just start to learn the language more fully to be able to just equip themselves for daily life, but also to help them in situations where they might really be at an impasse without the ability to speak English to an officer, an agent, that kind of thing.
The funding will also support community events like potlucks and social gatherings that bring immigrants together with other residents. Melanie Redding is deputy director of the Adirondack Diversity Initiative, which provided the funding. She says creating a sense of belonging for immigrant families benefits the region as a whole.
Investing in programs that help immigrant neighbors put down roots here is a part of how this region stays true to itself, how it stays sustainable, and our region is being shaped by people that choose this place.
Grimmett says that community connection is especially important right now as the Trump administration continues to accelerate its efforts to deport immigrants in the country illegally. She says her group wants to help longtime residents get to know the people who are joining their communities.
So we want to do everything we can to help educate local folks throughout the Adirondacks of who immigrants are in our community, what their roles have been, where they come from, a bit more about their stories, and really helping people see them as humans.
The funding will support North Country Immigrant Allies programs through next year. David Escobar, North Country Public Radio.
David Escobar is a Report for America Corps member. He reports on diversity issues in the Adirondacks through a partnership between North Country Public Radio and Adirondack Explorer. This is NCPR.
You're listening to Northern Light, only here on North Country Public Radio. It's 8:11. Good morning. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Catherine Wheeler. Stick around. John Warren checks on outdoor conditions in the Adirondacks ahead of this summer weekend.
That's coming up in just a few minutes here on Northern Light. But first, we'll hear a little more music from Eddie Lawrence out of Saranac Lake. Support for Northern Light comes from Barstow Subaru of Potsdam, committed to the safety and security of all-wheel drive. Details at barstowsubaru.com. And from the Norwood Village Green Concert Series, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence with a focus on American music styles. Full schedule at nvgcs.org.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is taking public comment for a few more days on a planned graphite mine in the North Country. As Samuel King with the New York Public News Network reports, the project is part of an effort to bring mining of the critical mineral back to the U.S.
A number 2 pencil contains graphite. So do the batteries that power electric vehicles and smartphones. But most of the graphite used in the United States now is imported from overseas. The Empire State Mines Project in St. Lawrence County and others across the country aim to change that. Titan Mining Vice President of Operations Joe Rowe says the mine would meet 40% of current U.S. demand when it's fully up and running and provide hundreds of local jobs.
Where it's not just a matter of local and state economic benefits, it is also a matter of national security in that that graphite has been defined as a critical material.
Stephen Kessler is a professor emeritus at the University of Michigan. He says the North Country site likely offers high-quality deposits, but overseas production might still make more economic sense at this point.
And if we want to have some sort of domestic production, we have to make it work. And making it work would require probably some sort of price support system, perhaps tariffs.
Titan Mining is seeking a water permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. The public can comment through August 31st. They hope to begin commercial production in 2028. In Albany, I'm Samuel King for the New York Public News Network.
Democrats say Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman's recent appearance with President Donald Trump was an improper campaign rally. Jimmy Vilkind reports for the New York Public News Network.
New York State Democratic Chairman Jay Jacobs is filing a complaint with the State Board of Elections over the Republican president's recent visit to the Nassau County Police Academy. Trump praised Blakeman from the stage and endorsed his campaign against Democratic Governor Kathy Hochul. Since the event took place in a public building with public security, Jacobs says Blakeman's campaign needs to pay for it.
It looked like a campaign rally. It smelled like a campaign rally. It is a campaign rally, and that's okay. But then a campaign should pay for it.
The White House says it was an official event. Blakeman faulted Democrats for criticizing an event to support law enforcement. He calls the complaint a Hail Mary. In Albany, I'm Jimmy Vielkind for the New York Public News Network.
One of the Adirondack High Peak's most popular trails reopened Wednesday, but the trail's extensive reconstruction is still ongoing. The Department of Environmental Conservation says the Avalanche Pass Trail reopened for the first time since a thunderstorm last summer triggered mudslides and buried the trail. The 2-mile narrow ravine connects Marcy Dam with Avalanche Lake and its narrow wooden platforms along sheer rock face, as well as Lake Colden further south. Professional and volunteer crews began rebuilding and rerouting the trail this spring. It features 8 rebuilt bridges, several dozen new bog bridges, rock foundations for some sections, stone steps, and improved drainage. The DEC says the trail remains under construction and hikers should be mindful of crews and equipment along the trail. The work to reroute and repair the pass and surrounding areas is expected to continue through 2027.
Young athletes are facing more opportunities and pressure than before as they pursue college careers in the sport they love. As Noel Evans with the New York Public News Network reports, one summer basketball camp in Rochester is bringing together some of the greats as they embark on that journey.
This my group right here?
The sun is blazing on a breezy summer morning.
Oh, all right. 50 mountain climbers, full speed ahead up top.
About 30 teens are making their way up and down a hill between tennis courts and a softball field at Nazareth University.
Make sure you breathing.
This is Hoop and Holla Summer Basketball Camp. Ithmar Robinson, or Coach Freeze, is one of the trainers here.
Training the heart rate, the muscles all at the same time. All the things that the kids aren't used to. It shocks the nervous system, therefore they have to grow, they have to have growth spurts, and more importantly, when they get on the court, they actually feel it.
But this camp goes beyond physical training.
We teach leadership, we teach financial literacy, nutrition, mental health. We're teaching the kids, be yourself, be the best you.
And for some teens, that message comes at an important time. Since 2021, college athletes have been able to profit off NIL, or name, image, likeness deals. And that means kids who aren't old enough to graduate high school are navigating agents and sponsorship opportunities and everything that comes with it. One of the campers is 16-year-old David Johnson. ESPN ranks him 5th in the nation for the class of 2029. And he's been playing basketball for about 3 years.
Honestly, I really just let my game talk for me.
Really, the game found him, really.
And that's his dad, Xavier Johnson.
You know, I caught him in his room watching old Scottie Pippen videos and old Chicago Bulls videos and players that's not around anymore in the middle of the night up to like midnight.
He says it's David's consistency on his jump shots, his range, and his game IQ that makes him stand out. David says it's his hair.
A lot of people know me as my fro. I just started growing it out past like a year now, so.
Whatever the reason, people took notice. Nike posted a clip of him during a tournament, and then the attention and enticing sponsorship deals started rolling in.
At first, it was really confusing. We tried to take everything all at once, so it was like kind of hectic.
This is exactly the kind of thing that Coach Mitchell Harris works to prepare families and athletes for.
Historically, what you do is you deprive people so long, and then you put crumbs in front of them because they never had anything. They love the crumbs.
The camp is part of a larger program through the city's recreation centers that is set up to address this. Coaches work with teams and their families throughout the year to keep up on grades and learn how to navigate the business side of basketball so they don't get taken advantage of.
We make sure our parents are well aware of the pitfalls, and we always we tell them, stay away from the word perpetuity.
With success comes other new challenges. Harris says they also offer philosophical guidance for how athletes can live their lives going forward.
What I fear is, and one of the things we want to try to steer them away from, is living a selfish life. Living a life where your values are about attaining things individually instead of having an impact on others.
For the Johnsons, things got a lot more organized when David signed with the agency Rock Nation. But the real opportunities are not about endorsement deals or partnership agreements.
Obviously, as his father, I'm just happy to see him happy and thrive in something that he enjoys. For him, his mind mentality is to make it to the league, and not only make it to the league, but to be a positive role model in that space for many Muslim Americans who are kind of like underrepresented in that space or may not feel comfortable disclosing their religion, but he wants to be like an advocate for everybody, really.
And for David, there's pride in coming from Rochester, New York.
We definitely create a lot of dogs. It's not really, we don't have an actual like team or a good college to go to or work towards. So it's really just get out the mud, like from the bottom.
In Rochester, I'm Noelle Evans for the New York Public News Network.
This is NCPR. You're listening to Northern Light here on North Country Public Radio, which is supported by NCC Systems, providing businesses and homes with fire alarm, surveillance, and access control systems. Full-service facilities in Plattsburgh, Watertown, and Potsdam, nccsystems.com. And from the Adirondack Community Foundation, offering donor-advised funds and other charitable giving tools to help individuals and families support the causes they care about, adkcommunityfoundation.org. It's 8:21. Good morning. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Catherine Wheeler. You can stick around after the show for Bird Note. That's coming up at 8:42. With our eyes to the skies, sunset in Watson is at 7:44 tonight. And if you look up to the sky this evening, there's a special show. Not only is it a full sturgeon moon tonight, but there's a near total lunar eclipse. That should begin a little before 9:30 in our skies and peak in the wee hours of the morning.
Before then, though, as you're going about your day today, you could expect a mostly cloudy skies this morning, but should be clearing out in time for that lunar eclipse to check it out. There is a chance of light rain showers this morning and through the afternoon, but should be tapering off by the afternoon. Again, clouds clearing by this evening, giving way to pretty sunny skies as we head into this weekend. At last check, it was 62 degrees in Lowville, 63 degrees in Long Lake, 69 in Burlington right now, 16 degrees in Kingston. And for a more thorough look at how these conditions impact the trail conditions in the Adirondacks this weekend, here's John Warren with the New York Almanac.
In the Adirondack High Peaks on Saturday, the sun will rise at 6:15 a.m. and set at 7:35 p.m. The forecast is calling for a nicer day tomorrow than Sunday, when rain is expected. High Peak summit temperatures are expected to be in the mid-50s through the weekend. The forecast is calling for winds 30 to 35 miles per hour on Sunday. Rivers and streams are generally about normal levels for this time of year. At North Creek, the Hudson River is expected to be at about 3 feet on the gauge through the weekend. At Piercefield, the Racket River is forecast to be just above 3 feet. Lake Champlain, which remains very windy this morning, has fallen to about 94 feet. Water temperatures there remain in the lower 70s. The water temperature at Mirror Lake is about 70 degrees. There will be daily lane closures on State Route 74. That's the main route between the Northway and Ticonderoga from Monday through Friday, which will slow traffic there considerably. In the Hudson River Special Management Area near Warrensburg and Lake Luzerne, enforcement is ramping up in the no parking zones along River Road. The Upper Chateauguay boat launch will be closed starting Tuesday, September 8th, for repairs, which are expected to take 2 weeks. The entire facility will be closed. And a reminder that the Forked Lake Road from North Point Road to Forked Lake Campground will be closed starting September 11th for a bridge replacement. Access to the campground parking area and boat launch will end September 8th. And finally this week, some good news. The Avalanche Pass Trail, which was closed by massive mudslides off Mount Colden last summer, has reopened. Avalanche Pass connects Marcy Dam to Lake Colden through a nearly 2-mile narrow ravine. Professional and volunteer teams from the Student Conservation Association, Adirondack Mountain Club, and Adirondack 46ers have helped DEC clear the trail, and DEC trail crews also rebuilt the bridge at the intersection with the trail to Algonquin Peak. Those are the outdoor conditions in the Adirondacks this weekend. For North Country Public Radio, this is John Warren from the New York Almanac. Online at newyorkalmanac.com.
Sounds like a good weekend to be getting out there and exploring the North Country. And of course, as always, there is plenty to do. If If you're around Old Forge this weekend, check out the Seven Wonders. They're a Fleetwood Mac tribute band, and they're taking the stage at View in Old Forge tonight, starting at 7:30. They'll recreate the band's greatest hits like Dreams, Go Your Own Way, Edge of 17, Landslide, and more. Tickets are available on View's website.
There are lots of music shows this weekend, including in Hammond. Check out the Joyful Rhythms of Camboyu Marimba. That's at the Iva Smith Memorial Gallery of Fine Art, also known as the Yellow Barn, out in Hammond in St. Lawrence County. They say you can dance in your seat, in your heart, or get up and move to the infectious rhythms and melodies of the Shona people of Zimbabwe. Tickets are $15 at the door. Kids 18 and under listen for free. No one's turned away. It's tomorrow night from 3 to 5 in Hammond.
It's one of the greatest weekends of the year for Monica and I. It's the Canton Rock and Gem Show at the Canton Village Pavilion.
They're here. They're here already. The visitors are here.
They're setting up. I've seen it with my own eyes. There's also a free mineral hunt for kids 12 and under tonight at the pavilion. Kids will hunt for rocks that glow with like a UV blacklight club that provides, and they can keep what they find. It's a fun event for everyone. Last year, they say they had 80 kids looking for rocks.
And they'll also be doing crystal readings and tarot and oracle readings, too, with a couple of the vendors there. You can also learn more about crystals and fossils and different mineral specimens. That's the Rock and Gem Show at the Canton Pavilion this weekend. You can find out more from the St. Lawrence County Mineral Club.
Plus, you can turn out to Riverfront Park in Saranac Lake for the Corrugated Cup Cardboard Boat Race tomorrow. It's a family-friendly fundraiser that invites you to put your engineering and design skills to the test. Racers will paddle cardboard boats in short marked loop around Lake Flower. And don't worry, if you sink spectacularly, there's an award for that. Check out all the rules at playadk.org.
If you're going to be in the High Peaks tomorrow, make sure to stop by the Waterhole Music Lounge tomorrow evening for a free show from Saranac's own alt folk group Nubble. Again, they're doing a free show tomorrow night starting at 6 at the Waterhole Music Lounge, and we've got a little bit of a preview. This is their song, Ghosts.
It's all fine. Don't pay attention to the chill down my spine. The ghost, my dog, and me roaming around this house, you say, sitting around the fire singing songs, and in the end we all get along.
You're listening to the group Nubble out of Saranac Lake. They'll be doing a free show tomorrow night at the Waterhole. Show starts at 6 o'clock. Again, it is free. You can find out more from the Waterhole Music Lounge at their website at saranaclakewaterhole.com or on social media too. That's it for the show for the day. I'm Monica Sandreski.
And I'm Catherine Wheeler. Be well.
Little as you know, ghosts are smarter than the hat.